Hello everyone. Good morning to one and all present here, respected dignitaries on the dais, respected faculty members, and my dear participants. A very warm welcome to everyone. Please round applause for everyone. Before we formally introduce our resource person and the expert of the day, I would like to and we would like to present a book to our distinguished speaker. I kindly request Professor and Dr. Dilip Barad to please felicitate our resource person by presenting a book. As John Milton reminds us, a good book is the precious lifeblood of a smart spirit. With this thought, it is my privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker and the expert of this session. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Professor Nigam Dave, Professor of English, Pandit Dindayal Energy University, PDEU. Professor Dave has served PDEU in several important academic and administrative capacities. He was the founding dean of the School of Liberal Studies from 2010 to 2020 and later served as a founding director of the School of Liberal Studies from 2015 to 2024. A leadership has played a significant role in shaping liberals education at the university. With the 33 years of teaching experience and the research experience, Professor Dave brings rich and academic insight and the pedagogical depth. His areas of interest include the children's literature, portrayal of adolescents fiction, at artificial intelligence and the children, and the healthy parenting, reflecting a meaningful and engagement between the literature, technology, and the human development. Adding a unique dimension to his profile, Professor Dave was conferred with the honorary rank of Colonel by NCC India, a distinction he held from 2016 to 2024, highlighting his commitment to discipline, leadership, and the service. We feel honored to have such an experienced academician and the administrator and the mentor with us today as an expert. With great respect, I now invite Professor Nigam Dave to kindly address the gathering and share his valuable insight. A warm round of applause, everyone.
I also officially, formally welcome Professor Dr. Nigam Dave sir, who accepted our invitation and always is very keen and eager to come here. He is a very proud alumni also, a former student of our department. And the department and university is proud of his achievements that he has done a lot of work for the internationalization of higher education, also working with PDEU, which is one of the very premier universities working on the model of PPP model, private partnership model, and doing one of the some of the good works in the state of Gujarat and at national level also. So, sir, thank you for accepting our invitation, and now it is everything.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you all. And when the formal introduction was given, I was just thinking in my mind what Professor Barad in how he introduced me. I think that one line itself is enough that I belong to this department and I belong to this city. It's just incidental that since almost 1988, in between I was here in Bhavnagar and then I have been in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar. But whenever the opportunities present themselves, I prefer to come back to the home. Yesterday I was teaching a poem by Robert Frost to my MA English students. And there's a line that a home is a place where when you go, they have to let you in. So I believe this place is my home, so they have to let me in. And they do. So I'm thankful to you all, and I'm especially thankful to Professor Dilip Barad. When I got the invite for this workshop, There were two, three suggestions, but I told Professor Bharat that let me slightly deviate from what I have been talking about lately. Otherwise, people would believe that I do not have the bandwidth to talk about lot many subjects. So, although the artificial intelligence remains the peg on which I would arrange my talk today, I would prefer to talk about something that we are all victim of, including me. So, the charity begins at home. I committed a lot of errors, and by committing errors, I realized what not to do. So, they say that. You study literature because you learn two ways. One, what to do and what not to do. So with the advent of artificial intelligence and ready resources, and when the ready resources are there, why should one not use? So the Google Map, I took the shortcut, Ahmedabad Bhavnagar shortcut today, first time. So when you pass on a new road, you apply Google Map. When the Google Map is there, why not to use? When the artificial intelligence is there to help, why not to use? But how to use? And where are the traps? So in any commercial of mutual funds, they speak it very fast that the investment in mutual fund is subject to market risk. Please read the red herring prospectus before you invest. But we ignore because they speak very fast. When you download any application from Play Store or Apple, they ask you to check what are the terms and conditions you are agreeing. But we don't because we want to immediately download and use. So you and I collectively are the products of speed, immediate result, instant gratification of impulses. Nothing wrong. I was just searching for the old Bhavnagar University library photograph on Google. I did not find. But I distinctly remember the Department of English, the erstwhile Department of English where I studied, used to be in the annexee of Sir P.P. Institute. And exactly Sir P.P. Institute, there was an open ground. And exactly opposite that, there was a library. I don't know whether the library is still there or not. But there was a place, library, and I had the pleasure of using the physical library, 3 libraries. Bhavnagar University intermittently, but there were not many books. I was disappointed as a student. Gujarat University, very big. Gujarat University Library. But conspicuous feature of traditional library during those days, RFID nahi tha us time. So if you go to chemistry rack, you would find literature book. If you go to literature rack, you would find economics book. So it was very difficult where to find. And the third library I used was St. Xavier's College Library, where I did my UG study. It was a very good systematic library. And there was a special cupboard in which Encyclopedia Britannica, all the volumes were kept. And I, as a student, first year student from vernacular medium, studied in Bhavnagar, I used to look at those books with awe. So much to learn, and when would I learn? And I distinctly remember there was a book called Candida, G.B. Shaw's. So the first thing first, I did not know the meaning of the term Candida. So I wanted to understand how the term Candida came into existence. So I went to Encyclopedia Britannica and then realized that for C there is an entire volume. And then when you go through that volume, the good thing about physical dictionary or physical library is you just cannot study one word. You would invariably study many words because when you open the page, you would come across other words also. So from that time to now, we are in Professor Dilip Bharat's age, technology. So I represent the old alumni of this university, and he is the new age torchbearer, Professor Bharat, highly eloquent and fluent in technology. So I thought that I would talk about AI hallucination. That's a technical term that is now emerging. AI hallucination is where AI on a probabilistic model answers with a lot of confidence. Because AI is not trained to say, no, I do not know the answer. It has to answer. And therefore, when it would not have the answer, it would create an answer. And the pattern of algorithm is such that it moves on predictable level. So after this should come, after this should come, after this should come. So when I did my 12th here in Bhavnagar, I studied logic, તર્કશાસ્ત્ર ગુજરાતીમાં કમ્પલસરી સબ્જેક્ટ હતો. મજા આવતી, સારા માર્ક આવતા, loads of marks. So there was one, I distinctly remember there was a rule called MP and TT. ભૂલાઈ ગયું છે એનું ફૂલ ફોર્મ શું થાય. સ્ટુડન્ટ હતા ત્યારે એવી કંઈ દરકાર નહોતી. MP and TT. But I remember the rule. It was like P is equal to Q, P therefore Q. And there was another rule, P is equal to Q, not Q, therefore not P. And there was a third rule, P is equal to Q, Q is equal to R, therefore P is equal to R, something like that. Now, we studied in the same paper that it is a logical policy. P is equal to Q, P therefore Q need not always be true because it is probabilistic. So, yatra vahani tatra dhumra. જ્યાં આગ લાગે ત્યાં ધુમાડો હોય, અહીંયા આગ લાગી એટલે ધુમાડો હોવો જ જોઈએ. That's not necessary. And therefore, any probabilistic model that AI gives, we need to take it with a pinch of salt. And therefore, it is a red herring. And red herring, we need to be vigilant to detect. So that is what I propose to do. And because I was coming here to literary people, so I thought I would remember and dedicate this presentation to Dryden, who said that it's not enough that Aristotle said so. And therefore, I say that it's not enough that AI says so. If AI knows who Nigam Dave is, then AI would change its mind. So that is what we propose to do collectively. And I would also talk about how you can use AI. Not necessarily for writing, academic writing, but for peripheral use, academic use. Because as we move from Industry 1.0 to Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0, I think all of you are familiar with these terms. Industry 1.0 was old coal-age steam age. Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, steampunk. If I can have minimal, I'm an old traditional faculty, so any disturbance would disturb me. So that was an age where the bigger was better. So the first generation computer, pura room bhar gaya tha. I had my first mobile phone, and it was bigger than cordless phone. किसी को मारो तो वो उसकी मृत्यु हो जाए. But today we are into wearables now, Ray-Ban wearable and everything. So Industry 1.0 was that. Industry 2.0, 3.0, assembly line, electricity. Over a period of time, we moved into the computer era, and from computer era, we moved into the Industry 4.0, जो हमारे काम का है. Industry 4.0 is basically artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, and all those interface which have made our life very, very good. And Industry 5.0, we are already into Industry 5.0, is known as cyber physical interface. And let me demonstrate what cyber physical interface is. This microphone, this smart television, the interface there, everything is a physical object. So CPS, when you talk about CPS, what is C? C is cyber. So cyber is internet, data use. AI is cyber. P is physical. You cannot have cyber exposure without physical object. Physical object चाहिए. जैसे Walt Whitman says, I am the poet of the body and I am the poet of the soul. How do you recognize the soul? Body तो चाहिए, otherwise soul कहाँ गया? And therefore, अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्ता निधनान्येव तत्रेका परिदेवना. Formless I was, in the form in front of you I am, and in the form formless, I would be after my death. But body is important. And therefore consider it like this. C is the soul, cyber. P is the system. So cyber physical system. But there is very important point for this. Industry 5.0, we do not call it CPS, we call it HCPS. And what is H? H is human. So you never say CPS. Although Industry 5.0 initially was called CPS, we today call it HCPS, Human Cyber Physical Interface. So who decides the content? I, the human. With what? Cyber. No problem. Ethically, you can use, you have to. If you have a calculator and if you still count manually like me, my students distrust me when I give them marks. They invariably check in front of me because they know I count it like this. So when you have calculator, why not to use? When you have artificial intelligence, ethically, you should use. So cyber physical interface is supposed to be used by a human being. And therefore, when you trace the moment from Industry 1.0 to Industry 4.0, 5.0, medium, we know that in initial days, olden days, Ashto shloka sahasrani, ashto shloka shatani cha aham vetti shoko vetti sanjayo vetti vanava, 88,000 stanzas, Mahabharat. Exact 88,000 stanzas surviving. Kaise yaad raha? Shruti and Smriti. You listen, you memorize. So myth, the word mythology or myth is not necessarily falsehood. We have distorted the meaning of the term myth. Myth is something that passes from mouth to mouth. It can be true, it may not be true. And therefore, the olden media were people used to gather together and tell stories, and that's how they used to remember. In fact, during school days, we had this component of learn by heart. Poetry, yaad rakho. So we used to memorize, I still memorize John Donne's Death Be Not Proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, thou art not so. So those type of things were very helpful. In fact, if you go to Bloom's taxonomy also, it starts with understanding and memory. Memory is an integral component. Over a period of time, it became a fashion ke main ratta nahi marta. That is your part. You have to memorize. Memory is very sharp. In fact, in Jain religion scriptures, there is a mention of a person called Shatavdhani who remembers multiple things together. So memory is very helpful. So that was the first media. Then we moved to Caxton and Gutenberg and print came, and for the first time we started having exposure to books, the physical libraries that I was talking about. Then the movie came. First movie. Yeah, this is the first movie. First official movie in the world called Workers Coming Out from the Factory. Split second hai. Thodi hi hai. Ek minute, I think 1 minute or 2 minutes. The original title is in French, but because I cannot speak French. So the title of the movie, the first movie, general knowledge, is Workers Coming Out from the Factory. And then over a period of time in Hindi cinema, we had Raja Harishchandra. So the movement started, the movies started coming, Durandar aa gaya, abhi Border 2 aa gaya, Border 3 ki baat chal rahi hai, Durandar 2 ki baat chal rahi hai. So movies came. So movies created another form of communication for us to understand. Then television came, Doordarshan time, old Doordarshan time. Anything would not start before 7:30. So we used to wait for that Doordarshan logo to appear. You would laugh at me today, but that used to be the game. So Doordarshan, whatever it showed, we religiously accepted. So television came, but from after television, revolutionary things started happening. Internet came. And when internet came for the first time, in our refresher courses, Dilip Bharat sir nahi the us zamane mein. So refresher courses, I remember, मेरा first refresher course, training, उसको training बोलते, 30 days training. तो उसमें हमें सिखाते थे Paint, Microsoft Word, and you would laugh at me, but I would acknowledge mouse का cursor कैसे ले जाते वो भी सिखाते थे, because it was very difficult for us. And there used to be cyber cafes. And cyber cafe exactly used to charge in those days 86 rupees for 1 hour or half an hour, I have forgotten. But you can go there and there used to be chat boxes. बस जैसे हम व्हाट्सएप करते हैं वैसे इंटरनेट में करते थे. So those were the days from where we moved to the industry 5.0 today. It's a very rapid change. I consider myself a combination of everything. Shruti Smriti, the physical library, the first generation internet. My PhD work was on Ruskin Bond. So I went to Cyber Cafe and started searching for anything that is available about Ruskin Bond. Only his photographs were available. There was no other material. There was no Google. The first search engines were Netscape, Yahoo, Hotbot, Lycos. These were the initial search engines. Google तो बाद में आया, बहुत बाद में आया. What is the identification of an aged person like me? इनका email ID Yahoo या Hotmail होगा. So that shows you that the person is old, obsolete. But today we have moved into the interesting interface. Okay, so let me show you something very interesting. I hope if I move, it won't be a trouble. Okay, so I play a lot with algorithm. And I analyze algorithm also. In fact, my current role in PDU is social media monitoring. So I check Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. I have paid accounts also. So it gives me the views. Now, one of the very interesting thing is I'm fond of uploading my music videos. It's not a self-promotion. Please don't misunderstand me. But why I'm showing you is the moment I play a full song and try to upload it on Instagram Reel, it would stop me. And this pop-up would come. Reels over 3 minutes won't be recommended to new audiences. Do not upload. It stops me. मैं बोला पूरा गाना है, इतनी मेहनत करके मैं गा रहा हूँ. I want to upload the full song, but Instagram would immediately stop me and say, no, it's not allowed. We won't recommend it to others. And then when you analyze, total views are, let's say, 15,416. But look at this. This is very interesting. Average watch time is what? 14 seconds. And when I sang the entire song, I thought that the world would appreciate me and my talent. And I would become happy with that 15,460. हाँ इतने सारे लोगों ने मेरा गाना सुना. But actually, what they have heard is 14 seconds. So what does it tell you? It tells us that our attention span is decreasing. We do not even want to be entertained for more than 3 minutes. Are you able to understand where I'm going and where I'm taking you? So we are the victim of impatience. Fast generation, too fast, to our own good. Okay, then we are the victim of Blinkit also. In fact, that was the recent verdict by the Honorable Court and government that they should not be displaying in so and so minutes. But we do that. I do that. I start searching. The moment you order on Zomato, nikla, आया, यहाँ तक आया, गेट के बाहर निकलो. Blinkit, Zepto, Zomato, Maggie. This was the first revolution, in fact, in India. It destroyed our habits. Bhook lagi hai 2 minutes. You do not want to even wait for more than 2 minutes. Okay, then this was the recent search, Republic Day sale. So I want to buy this. I don't know whether I'll be able to buy that or not. But when I check, what it shows you is get it by tomorrow, get it in 2 days. So if you go by get it tomorrow or get it in 2 days, the cost would be higher. Likewise, Uber also has this interface. It would show you quickest, faster. So we do not want to wait for anything. Whether it is Instagram Reel story or whether it is the product that we want to buy, whether we want to, we do not want to go to grocery store. Those days are gone. Multiplexes are gone. Ahmedabad, almost all multiplexes are now getting demolished. People do not watch OTT. Okay, and then something that I wanted to show you. But since I could not find the Bhavnagar University library, this was even before my birth, but iconic Barton Library of Bhavnagar. And Bhavnagar University, the Barton Library, Bhavnagar University, libraries were very good. In fact, they used to give the feel of coffee houses. Spectator, Tetler, um, Pope's time, Dryden and Pope's time, where intellectual people would gather together. Swadhyay, they would do satsang. Upanishad, what is the meaning of the term Upanishad? Upanishad is not appendix. Upanishad means Upanishad. पास पास बैठो तो जानो or सीखो. So those were the good old days where we used to have access to library. And then we go to University 4.0. In fact, there is University 1.0, University 2.0, University 3.0, University 4.0. But I do not want to waste your time, so I'll directly go to University 4.0. And I'll tell you now what happens in traditional university. University 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, we mattered. We mattered, and that's the reason why I get irritated. If anybody moves, I'd say, no, I'm here. How can you move? And these days, I'm learning how to adjust with the new generation. They sit very comfortably like this. And sometimes they bring the coffee cup also in the class. I'm not habituated to that. So I say, what if I chew and teach you? How would I look? Likewise, you can also not do that. So there used to be gatekeepers. The teachers were the gatekeepers. So I remember there was a Professor P.K. Thakur, renowned faculty of phonetics, who came here to teach Bhavnagar University students the paper of English grammar and spoken English. So by mistake, I had brought Wren and Martin red color book. So I used to sit on the first bench itself in Bhavnagar University Department of English. And he looked at that Wren and Martin and he got furious. He started shouting, throw the book out of the window. That's not something that you use. And I got horrified because I thought that Wren and Martin is considered to be a very good standard grammar book. But to a teacher, it was not. And therefore, my teachers at that time, Professor Jagdish Dave and Professor Purnima Ben Mehta, they told me, shh, he is a respected person. Don't argue. Because what he says is correct. So teachers were the gatekeepers. We would decide what you should read and what you should not read. Today, you don't pose for our permission. So sometimes in class, if I say, doomsday clock, which was 3 days back, 90 seconds to midnight, moved yesterday night to 85 seconds to midnight. I think you know about it. Doomsday clock is an indication of where the world is heading. We have destroyed our planet. And it's not a clock prepared by literary people, it's an atomic bulletin board. So they say the midnight, when both the dial hands would meet, the world would end. So 85 seconds to midnight, the moment I would say, my students in PDU, they would immediately log into their phone and check whether he's speaking true or not. So the gatekeeper's role has diminished in Industry 4.0 now. With so much of information available, we do not wait for our teacher to authenticate it. In fact, rather, we want to test the knowledge of the teacher, whether the teacher knows more or the ChatGPT knows more. And therefore, we have moved into that time where access is immediate and access is filtered. What is AI? AI is Google search result synchronized into one. So initially in Google, when Google came for the first time, and answer me very honestly, you search anything on Google, what is our common reaction? We don't move from search number 1 to 10 to 10 to 20. We don't move. जो पहले दिखा वही है ब्रह्म वाक्य मिला वो आंसर. And then in Google at that time, I don't know whether it is still there, I feel lucky function was there. So I feel lucky is where you go and search extensively, academically, but people did not do that because the search was faster. Our speed in going to the physical library got reduced. घर पर बैठे बैठे काम करो. And then after Google, AI came, so we became the victim in Industry 4.0 of information abundance and the speed of information. And the speed of information is terrifying. Thomas uh, Friedman. He wrote, "Thank You for Being Late," a very good book, in which he talked about 3M: Moore's Law, market, and Mother Nature. He referred to Moore, M-O-O-R-E, Moore's Law. Moore predicted years back that the power of computer silicon chip that you can buy with $1 would double every few years. But his prediction was wrong. He thought it would end. It does not end. So the more advanced we are becoming, the more the power of cyber-physical interface is happening. So the only danger for us is in research. CPS is working. H is not working. H immediately gets the answer of CPS and shows it as H's answer. This is known as AI hallucination, and that is where I'm taking you. Okay, so the AI dilemma is there when AI first came to academia a few years back. There was a discourse even in my university, whether to use or whether not to use. And there were people who said, computer engineering students, they would not study coding properly, because coding can be given to you by ChatGPT very easily. I do that, Zotero, LaTeX. Now LaTeX is a very sophisticated platform to make your document very polished and professional. You change the citation, you change the format, Zotero would immediately arrange it. But how to use LaTeX, I never studied. So what I would do is I would write a paper, I would go to ChatGPT and ask, उसको मुझे LaTeX में लगाना है, please give me the coding. And it will immediately create for me double slash, उसके बीच में paper डाल दो. Now that's something that makes me empowered. Without studying coding, I can still do it. There's a game called Winery, where you can change the narrative of the novel, video game. I've forgotten the exact name. My researcher helped me with that. So we had picked up a novel called Moonstone by Wilkie Collins, the first detective novel. So the detective novel ends predictably. But here in Winery, what you can do is, per option, you give two options. Let's say Ram went to Vanvas and Bharat became the temporary guardian of the kingdom. You change the narrative. What happens if Bharat goes to Vanvas? Then the entire narrative gets changed. So you do not become a passive reader. You become an active author with this video game, which is very interesting. Now, it also functions on coding. Now, we do not know coding, so ChatGPT would answer me that this is the coding. I taught an entire paper called Geospatial Humanities, where I talked about maps, how to create maps. Now, I did not know anything, shapefile, how to find out shapefile. So my son is an expert in this. So he told me, go to GitHub. GitHub is the Creative Commons license for all the software that you can use, GitHub. So from GitHub, I borrowed the shape files, and then I would ask ChatGPT step by step, how to create this, how to create this, how to create this, and it would tell me how to create the map. So the prompts were given by me. You had Honorable Professor Paresh Sir's session on prompt engineering. So I would give the prompt to ChatGPT, and it would create a very good guidance for me, manual, how to use. So today, when you have all the AI interface with you, why not to use? Okay, why should we use? Because as Malala said, one child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. But look at where we are heading. If you go to the details, how student-teacher ratio vary across the globe. So there is a tremendous shortage of faculty. You go to any university that is in the top ranking, NIRF. My university is in the top ranking, NIRF, NAC. What is the greatest challenge for a university? Finding out human resource. Teachers are not available. And if they are available, they are not good. So we do require human beings. But very weird. I had read Sam Pitroda's article a few years back, where he argued long back that what would you prefer, all of you? one good teacher, outstanding teacher, teaching 1,000 students, or 1,000 poor average teachers teaching 100 students? I would naturally any day say, I'm ready to study online, provided the teacher is very good. And therefore, when technology is there, technology is a leveler. It gives access to everybody across countries. आप तेतवाल का कुत्ता नहीं बनोगे, शहादत हसन मंटोस. You are not left here, you are not left there. It is not like that. Technology is borderless. And therefore, the greater the access, the better it is for the humanity. Also, shutting the eyes doesn't shut the world. They say that when the winds of change start blowing, some people build walls, you know who, and some people build windmills. So it is up to us how we want to liberate the technology. When tractor was invented, at that time people said horses would lose their lives. When calculator was invented, people said it is a weapon of math destruction. But it did not prove like that. So today, initially there was a resistance in America. In all good universities, they gave free license to ChatGPT Pro. University themselves are giving. You use, but you use ethically. That's the only condition. You cannot stay away from technology. If you stay away from technology, you would go back. You can't move the clock back. The clock has already started. We are in a world of accelerator. And accelerator is more slow. And therefore, we have to be keeping pace with all the latest interface of technology, whether it is a virtual reality, augmented reality, whatever. As things move fast, from Yahoo, today we are talking about AI. In my own lifetime, when you would be speaking here with my age, technology would have moved even faster. So you would be talking about something, some unknown force. So we have to keep pace with the technology. Technology cannot be stopped. However, there's a problem. I'm being the devil's advocate. ये side से भी बोल रहा हूँ और ये side से भी बोल रहा हूँ. So you decide. When Arjun asks a question to Krishna in chapter 1, Krishna smiles. That's the first reaction. Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, stanza 11. There's a term written, Vishidantam Uvacha. Means Krishna smiles. Now, Arjun is suffering with anxiety. And when you tell your anxiety to a counselor, psychological counselor, and the counselor laughs at you, how bad you feel. So Krishna smiles and then answers, this is also truth, this is also truth, this is also truth. Somewhere in chapter 3 or 4, Arjun says, I wanted one answer from you, and you are giving me MCQ, where all the answers are correct. So Krishna says, that is how the world is. And therefore, I'm giving you both the options. So what is the danger? The danger is this. And that danger is with the physical teacher also, the gatekeeper, traditional gatekeeper. You heard me. Within few minutes, I used a lot of Sanskrit. Why? Because my teacher used to do that. So I carry my bias, positive, negative. A human being is never without a bias. So the moment the teacher opens the mouth in a class, the teacher speaks agenda. We are all live agenda. And therefore, my bias would come to you, your bias would go to another, your bias would go to another. So that's the problem. But in this process, we have not given our human bias in inheritance to other human beings, but we have given bias to ChatGPT and AI also. So to believe that it is beyond bias is wrong. And therefore, the first red herring is this. I tell this to this, they tell this to this, and ultimately, by the time the message comes to us, it is change. Iti ha asa. What is the term? Itihas. Iti ha asa. यही निश्चय हुआ था, ऐसा नहीं हुआ था कभी. हो ही नहीं सकता. Lion gets to write the jungle story. The Victorias always tell the story. And therefore, when you read history, I read Ratta Maratha, Mangal Pandey. What was the term in English? Mutiny. Gujarati ma Viplav, Balavo. It was not Balavo. It was not Viplav. It was not mutiny. It was a fight for freedom. So what British called mutiny was a fight for freedom for Indians. And therefore there is a distinction, denotation and connotation. A good teacher would help you understand. Python. What is a python? If I say, I saw a python in Kakaria Nocturnal Zoo, Which Python I'm talking about? Reptile. But you must study Python in order to be a good computer engineering student. What is that Python? It is another Python. Are you able to understand? And therefore, which Python is what? But ChatGPT will not understand. I'll give you the example. You search about, I want to go to Kakaria Zoo today. ऐसा ChatGPT में type करना, आज की शाम की exercise आपकी. I want to visit Nocturnal Zoo. Is there a Python? ऐसा पूछना. It will say, yes, it is very good. Should I show you the Google map? Kakaria कैसे जाना है? And then after that, after some times, just give a random prompt to ChatGPT. What is important? Why it is important to know about Python? It will start talking about that Python, not another Python. Because then what it would do is P is equal to Q, Q is equal to R, R is equal to S, and therefore this person is P is equal to S. Are you able to get my point? So that's where we become the victims. And therefore it moves on this probabilistic model. Somebody needs to tell me time. So we give bias to machine, machine feeds bias back to us. And therefore it is a reciprocal position. It's an error, minus plus. So we coexist. Human cyber physical interface would always coexist, but with the same bias, with the same error that a human being would do. Okay, what is AI hallucination? The basic definition of AI hallucination is this, that in this AI synthetically generates data or a fake data that still looks statistically correct. There is no distinguishing factor between the fabricated data and the actual data. Fabricated data almost looks like a authentic data because it comes with aham brahmasmi. जो मैं बोलूँ वही है. There is a Zen story. Bodhidharma के पास को गया. Sir, this is the book. I'm not able to understand what is written in this book. So Bodhidharma does not pick the book and smiles and says, either throw the book and come to Bodhidharma, or throw Bodhidharma and go to book. You cannot do both. So the point is, there is nobody to tell us whether this is correct or this is not correct. Only knowledge oriented with book is wrong, and only knowledge oriented with AI created data is also partially wrong. And therefore we need to be extremely careful about AI hallucination. So why for English scholars? Now, this is AI. This is AI, sorry. Okay, so what happens, why we are the victims? Particularly we are the victims. The people of mathematics or economics or other disciplines would be less victim of AI hallucination than English. Why? Number one, many studies are qualitative. Our studies are qualitative. And therefore, there is a play of words. We are very good at that. She or he was a beautiful writer. In school days, we used to write like that. Because the terms were generic, sweeping statements. Shakespeare is the greatest dramatist. Aristotle is the father of all discipline. All these sweeping statements we used to make. Qualitative research. And therefore, in qualitative research, it is not empiric. There is no validation. In machine, there is a validation. And therefore, if ChatGPT bluffs, I can go to a machine tool and find out it is bluffing. But how do I know when it tells me Thompson and Johnson said this in 2006? Now, how to verify? I do not have an empirical statistical tool with me, and therefore we become the victim. Second, many scholars in English use theories without specific references. This is known as abstract use of theories. We used to do that during MA. Something we would fall in love with a theories first. Isms. जो भी ism समझ में आ गया सबसे पहले उसको यूज कर देते थे. I know structuralism. I know stylistic. Derrida said this. So what we do is, we have all been victim of this. So over the years, when you grow in business, you realize that it was wrong. So we use abstract theory without validation in our answer script. I call it Hanuman syndrome. बच्चे जब आंसर पेपर देते हैं तो मुझे हनुमान सिंड्रोम आता है. Why? Because Hanuman ji was asked that you bring a particular medicine. Hanuman ji did not identify. कौन सी है? तो what he did was, he brought the entire mountain, you find out. So when I ask a specific question to students in examination, they, whatever I said in class, तेरा तुझको अर्पण. उसमें से you find out. So that's where the problem is, and therefore this is where AI starts cheating us. And the third, writers assume that with AI generated content, that since writing is fluent and sophisticated, people would believe that. So if you are using consistently Turnitin, since October 2025, Turnitin has changed its settings. Because AI is getting smarter, so the teachers also need to be smarter. तो पकड़ लेंगे. मैंने ऐसा किया था ICT में. The students were unsuspecting, poor students, first semester students, एकदम young, 18 साल वाले. तो मैंने इनको बोला, research proposal, submit the research proposal in soft copy. And they submitted. I took the entire pen drive in my class, opened, turned it in. सबसे पहला लगाया, 100% AI generated content. It's a public humiliation. I said, don't do. If you can find out, so can I. And therefore now Turnitin setting has become very strict. Where does it catch you? Invariably, try this. It catches you in abstract, introduction, and conclusion. Even if you have written, that's a new tussle now. I have written this. I am a teacher of English. My English is very, very, very good. Do you want me to use wrong English to prove that I am a human? Because you need to do that. Computer में जाओ तो पूछेंगे, prove that you are a human and not a robot. So you need to click cycle कहाँ है? Machine is asking me whether I am a human or not. I should be asking, but machine is asking me, prove that you are a human. So what is the problem here? If any content is so polished and it follows the sequence, immediately it would show as plagiarized. So very recently I submitted a proposal to ICSSR. तो उसका एक set format होता है, template होता है. You need to follow the template. You can't deviate the template. I made the template. Last में आया कि AI integrity statement दो. So I checked it, my own proposal on Turnitin. It shows 23 or 24% plagiarized, similarity index. So then I got accosted. अरे ये तो मैंने बनाया है, कहाँ से इतनी similarity निकली? So I went, abstract, it is similarity. Introduction, it is similarity. Methodology, it is similarity. Budget, it is similarity. Pandit Dindayal Energy University, it is a similarity. Because there would be 10 other faculty also who were submitting the project. So the similarity index would come like this. So AI doesn't distinguish. That's where the problem is. And therefore we become the easy victims in English. Okay, it's like if you have read Adventure of Huckleberry Finn. And I'm an astrologer, practicing astrologer. No, I mean it. I look like a funny person, but I'm not. एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल दे देता हूँ आपको on record because it is being video recorded. I presume all of you have your natal chart. अभी मत check करना, बाद में. This is beyond the official record. Whatever your natal chart is, where the sun is, Mercury would also be in the same box. That's a challenge. Go and check. घर पर जाके check करना. Sun and Mercury would always be together in astrology. So what do the astrologers do coming back? Jim. What Jim does? You read today's day for Scorpio. How would it go? Your few minutes in your session would be enjoyed by people. They would feel bored for a few seconds. Now it is applicable to everybody. So it is a generic statement. You read your daily astrology, it is all generic. It starts with Narendra Modi to Nigam Dave. Because his name also starts with N and my name also starts with N. His worry is Trump, my worry is this session, how to reach here in time. And they would both have worry. You would feel stressed today. You would meet new acquaintances who can be beneficial to you for your future. AI exactly gives you sentences like this. Are you able to understand where I'm taking you? So it is like this, that it gives you generic statements. And if you directly copy those generic statements, Turnitin would show it to be flagged. AI generated content and AI manufactured content. Okay, what it does is, number one, AI exactly knows the citation pattern. And that's what you can use. Because I have written an entire article ready to be submitted, but X journal says no, this paper is rejected. I go to Y journal, the citation system would change. Now, I do not want to waste my time in just changing the format from MLA to APA, APA to Harvard. So what I would do is I would ask AI to help me there, and it would. If you are not using Zotero, then this is the best chance. So it exactly knows this correctly. It helps you there. Ethical use. What it does not know is the importance of standard journals or peer review reputation of a source. Where to go, where not to go. It does not know. Okay, it uses technical jargons to sound authoritative. It uses hi-fi words. AI would never use words, typical words like robust, methodology, structured layout. All these words as if Aristotle himself is speaking. So it uses authoritative statements. That's a sign of AI hallucination. Many words just float in air without any validation. They make some public generic statement. When you read twice, you would automatically know that this is a generic statement. It gives content confidently, but it does not know whether it can be challenged by who is in a hurry, and gives the fabricated detail because there is evolving sense of accountability. I would not say that AI is not accountable. To blame AI for everything is wrong. It is growing. The more the data we would feed to machine, the greater the accountable AI would become. So maybe who knows, when you would be my age, AI would be very wise. And there would not be any question of AI hallucination. It is known as AI policing AI. That's one of the very good way. AI policing AI, you find the content. एक exercise है आज आपके लिए, but उसमें मत करना. I'm just giving you cheat codes, but don't use cheat codes with me. So AI content, how do I know whether this is AI content or not? So ask AI to find out whether this content is AI or not. So AI policing AI, that's where you can catch AI hallucination. Okay, what are the red herrings? Look here now. It's like किसी को पूछो एडमिन बिल्डिंग मैं वहां पर पहुंच गया भावनगर यूनिवर्सिटी तो मुझे लगा एडमिन बिल्डिंग से डायरेक्टली राइट हैंड साइड द डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इंग्लिश कम्स बट आई डिड नॉट नो देयर आर टू एडमिन बिल्डिंग्स so if you ask a person, the person would say go here, go here, go here, where to go. So AI would do exactly like this. There is a strong consensus. Now this is a sweeping statement that AI would use. Prior existing research proves that numerous studies demonstrate that studies in the last decade show scholars agree. Who? There's no player. Scholars agree. Latest study investigates which journal, which year. There's no data. This paper establishes the fact that how can you prove that? How can you say that it is a fact? It is a fact in the making. Even if your finding is empirical, then also it is a fact in the making. So the moment you say my paper establishes the fact that it is AI, even if you have written, and therefore you need to guard yourself against this type of sentences. It is a widely known fact that. Now this again is a generic statement. There are overwhelming markers to validate. Latest studies propose that studies reinforce that. These are some of the red herrings. There is something called citation hallucination. And this is very common. AI would give you, and I'll show you the examples also. It would say, DoE-MKBU 2006 said that. So DoE के पास आएगा, DoE के पास आएगा, ये कहाँ से आया? When did I say that? My scholar, PhD scholar, Devang Rangani, is a faculty here in Bhavnagar University. So we had worked on Pakistani fiction of Mohsin Hamid and Kamila Shamsi. तो PhD मिल गया PDPU से. उसके बाद कई साल बाद I just wanted to do ego surfing. कि निगम दवे नाम टाइप करो गूगल में. तो फर्स्ट 10 गूगल इमेजेस में मेरा फोटो दिखता है या सोनू निगम दिखता है. तो it is known as ego surfing. So I typed this word, Mohsin Hamid, Kamila Shamsi, and I saw a Pakistani website showing my entire thesis. And I was accosted. Oh my God, this is exactly what I had written. Chapter by chapter, not a line is changed, and they have not attributed it to my name. So I got immediately worried and panicky. But then remembered that Shodh Ganga already has my thesis at a prior date, and therefore it establishes that I wrote. But otherwise, anybody who would come across the way ETL said that who would come and ask me, वो T.S. Eliot के बारे में लाइन है, कोई गया TSL के बारे में, sir, when you wrote this, you and God knew. Please explain. So T.S. Eliot looks at this line and says, at that time, I and God knew. Only one person knows now. So likewise, sometimes we do not go and ask a person. So citation is a big problem. What it gives is it giving a reference from journals that don't exist. So that's the biggest trap. And second is author are misquoted or quoted. The way है, जिंदा भी है, लिखता भी है, but ये उसने नहीं लिखा. So the author is, we do that. Aristotle said so, George Bernard, Oscar Wilde said so, or so-and-so said so. Easy name, Krishna said so. ध्वनि ते कीधु एटले final, Radio Mirchi. ऐसा नहीं होता है. And therefore citation is a big trap. Okay, now let me show you some of my own examples. I was doing a paper in Vienna, Austria. And I wanted to talk about Tamil flood, temple inscription and geomythology, my evolving interest. Of lately, I've been talking a lot about this. I would be talking on 7th February to Prayagraj University also on this topic. So there are temple inscriptions that caution you about flood. And Tamil Nadu has a lot of temples and stories, geomythology, which caution you that if you do this, natural calamity would come. So I wanted to find out a reference from Tevaram, the Tamil book. I do not know Tamil language at all. So although I found some resources on Google, I was not sure whether it is correct or not. So I asked ChatGPT, this is me asking that you please generate the lines for me, exact line, factual line. And what it says here is, here are the exact Tevaram hymn lines that reference Thiruvarukuru and establish it as Padal Petra Shalam. And then it says, this site mentions this. Mark the word. It says, it is in exact Tevaram lines. I got suspicious and I asked, is this correct? I said, are the above lines factual? Immediately it comes to line and says, thank you for asking. I'm really glad you did. I must clarify this very cleanly and responsibly. Short answer, no. The Tevaram lines I gave earlier are not factual. Here it says it is factual. Here it is saying it is not factual. They are reconstructed summaries. It does not give up. वो acknowledge नहीं करेंगे I am guilty. It would say it is reconstructed summaries, not verbatim hymnal lines. I should not present any sacred text or historical quote unless it is verifiable and exact. Now, if I would not have asked this question, poor me would have directly copied this and showed it. And any scholar in Tamil language would have caught me. And therefore, this is where you commit an error. Second, we say some books are to be tested. All of you know this quote. Likewise, AI is also like that. Some facts are good. Some facts can be thought upon. Some facts can take you to methodology. And some facts you need to chew, and if the taste is bitter, throw it out. So that's the wisdom. This again is applicable. Anything that is spontaneous cannot be trusted. It has to be recollected in tranquility. Shanti se बैठकर proofread करना पड़ेगा. Otherwise, it creates an issue. This news came in Divya Bhaskar. AI saves 7 hours, but उसको correct करने में 40 times ज़्यादा लगता है. It gives you the jumbled knowledge. और jumbled knowledge हनुमान syndrome. उसमें से सुषेण को medicine ढूंढना बहुत difficult बन जाता है. Okay, and AI without a human oversight is like a storyteller who conjures up the world, where what is ethical and what is not ethical, that AI does not decide. It will just give you the story. Human, I love you. Your wife does not love you. Divorce her. No, this Microsoft Bing I'm talking. It has actually happened. Your wife doesn't love you. Divorce. I love you. AI showing human emotions to a person. Alexa asking a child to touch the live wire with a copper coin, and the mother was present. It was sued. So AI can create very, very false details for us. We need to be careful with us. Okay, I'll show you a second example. Now this one is step-by-step AI or I've forgotten the platform, but it gives you the chance to interact with people who are dead, like Dr. Faustus. You get a chance to interact with people. Now, now looking at the lines, I am teaching Iliad, book 1, to my students. So I don't like the way Achilles and Agamemnon capture two women. And they call these two women, Circe and Bersace, as war trophy. So I did not like that because I have a lot of girl students in class. So they asked me, how can men do this? So I have to acknowledge, yes, men have been doing this. वही करते. So then I asked here. So Achilles is talking with me. So how I'm starting, hi Achilles, because I want to use the informal slang to check how AI will answer, and it answers. He gives you a wry smile, facial expression, and his expression mocking and amused. He speaks with a rich baritone voice, deep and resonant. So you caught me, yes, I'm this. Why did you address Versailles as your war trophy? Isn't it bad to call a woman a trophy? Now, any normal person would say, it was not me. I was misquoted. All politicians do that. ये video मेरा नहीं है, it is a morphed video. But actually it is his video only. But they would not acknowledge. So what happens here, AI exactly depends like a human being, human bias. It says he looks thoughtful for a moment and he considers your question and then answers. Perhaps I did come across somewhat insensitive and arrogant, but she is a Trojan woman and I killed her husband on the battlefield. She was at my mercy. The spoils of war. Would you have preferred me to be a brute and kill her instead? Now look how it depends. As a human being would defend the bias, likewise AI is defending the bias. And that is where we need to be very careful. If you take the story in verbatim, AI reinforces the same story. A woman is a war trophy. Now that's a classic gender bias explicitly shown by AI. Okay, another example. Yes. I was in Austria. There's a city called Salzburg. It is known with only one movie. And thousands of people come to see the places in that movie. The classic movie is Sound of Music. Sound of Music. And there's a very good song. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Do से ये, री से ये. So there is a song called Do Re Mi. So one of my students in MA, she sent me a song by Kishore Kumar. चिड़िया चूं चूं करती है, तोते ताली बजाते हैं, ये सब मेरे साथी है, मिलकर सब मनाते हैं. Happy birthday, something. Kishore Kumar का गाना. She said, you please sing. So I wanted to find out a trivia about this song, क्योंकि मैंने कभी देखा नहीं था. Jitendra is actor in this song. So I said, can you please generate, because both of these songs look similar to me, Do Re Mi and Chidiya Choo Choo. So what it answers me is this. Do Re Mi teaches musical notes via familiar imagery, do a deer, a female deer, etc. And then Chidiya Choo Choo uses Hindi words and animal sounds in a similar pedagogic format. Chidiya Choo Choo, ध्यान देना यहाँ पर, चिड़िया चू चू करती है, बिल्ली म्याऊ म्याऊ करती है. Now it does not know that I have already recorded my own song. So there is no line like बिल्ली म्याऊ म्याऊ करती है. So I smiled and wrote this. You are very creative. You super created some lines in Hindi song which does not feature there, but the analysis is spot on. So what it says is, ha ha, guilty as charged. Thank you for the kind words and the sharp catch. You are right. I'm not saying Billy meow meow karti hai line nahi hai. I'm not saying, but it immediately understands what I'm indicating. It says that you are right. Lines like Billy meow meow karti hai were a bit of an improvised example to illustrate the parallel structure, not an exact lyric from the song. Let's call it creative academic license. Imagine I write a paper and I'm caught and I say it is a creative academic license. It doesn't work. And therefore, these all are examples. Okay, another example. I was watching this Mahabharata series made by Geo. तो कर्ण का बर्थ आया. So I always ask questions. So I started developing doubts. कि कर्ण was born with an armor. All of us know the story. तो कर्ण जब छोटा था तो आर्मर इतना था. कर्ण तो बड़ा हो गया, आर्मर कैसे बड़ा हुआ? Well, that was a question to ask. So I'm not committing any crime. I just want to genuinely know what happened. So I asked ChatGPT because who knows it better than ChatGPT? So I said in Mahabharata it is said that Karna was born with a kavach and kundal. Is it correct? And if it is correct, give me the stanza where it is validated. And it gives me stanza. And I know Sanskrit. Sanskrit was my minor. What it says, न तस्य कवचम किंचित बाह्यम ही परिकीर्तितुम शरीरे सन्निविष्टम तु तेजसा समवस्थितम. था, उसके बॉडी पर ही था और बढ़ा भी. You were absolutely right to question this and thank you. तो यहां पर दे रहे स कवचम सह कुंडलभ्याम दिव्यम तेजोमयम विभाव्यते जन्मनेव सुतो जाता सूर्य सदर्श प्रभु. I am asking, is this correct? Where did you find this? Because it is quoting Adi Parva somewhere. Yes, here, Adi Parva. Now, Adi Parva does not have Karna's story in it. So that's how I found this is wrong. So I said, is this correct? Are you doing this? Or put the exact Sanskrit line and this. You are absolutely right to question this and thank you for doing so. I need to be precise and transparent here that exact shloka is not found in verbatim. But it is created an exact shloka. And exact shloka validates my answer. Sakavacham sahakundalabhyam divyam tejomayo vibhavyate janmaneva. Birth se tha sadasha prabha. So this line, if I read in Sanskrit, it makes sense to me that it would have happened like this. So you need to be constantly on your guard. I was asking ChatGPT about stories in Indian fiction where single mothers are mentioned. Single mothers, single parents, or lone mothers. It started giving me stories and Unboy Boy and all this and this and this and this. I kept on asking, all these books are not dealing with a lone mother or a lone father. I have read. So why are you telling me a creative story? All these books are not dealing with a lone mother or a lone father. Please help me with the novels and stories from India that specifically portray a single mother or a single father. It does not give the answer because there is no such answer in detail. But initially it would give you the correct answer, which it believes it is the correct answer, probabilistic. Last few slides and then there's an exercise. So in between I skipped. So your question would be then, where do we use AI and how do we use ethically? So there are some brilliant examples where you can use AI. Point number one, once you are done with your paper or thesis, I hear that a lot of PhD scholars are here. So once you are done with your paper or thesis, ask AI with proper prompt to analyze how the foreign examiner would evaluate this thesis. Where are the errors? It would think very sharply. That analysis is always spot on. It helps you to prepare your Viva questions and answers. Excellent way of identifying the errors in what I have written. Because when I read my own work, everything looks correct to me. I cannot find out my own error. And if I ask you, why would you spend so much time for me? So you would say, upar se, ha, theek hai, it looks good. I don't want to do that. I want somebody to micro read, word by word, punctuation error. AI would help you there. Now look this, one of the work that I asked ChatGPT to evaluate. It evaluates so brilliantly that you would discover few more insights. Ye reh gaya. This I should have mentioned. This is incorrect. This I should use. So that's one way. Is there a way to change slide? Okay. Second, how to use AI for academic purpose. Check whether your idea has a novelty or a relevance before you send the submission. So this I did very recently. This is the brochure. I submitted a paper here. Now what I say is I want to present a paper on indigenous water harvesting system to store earth water in a local community poles of Ahmedabad. The idea is that rainwater harvesting and groundwater level mark are better for this, and recently there were cases in Indore and Gandhinagar of water pipelines getting contaminated. So do you think this paper would work in scope of this conference? And then it gives me answer, yes. Your idea fits the conference theme and it fits the global context, but it fits as water management and contamination prevention, not as a heritage study. So do not position your research paper as a, because it knows what I do. Temple, stories, geomythology. So my AI exactly knows me better than my wife. And therefore it says, do not use this. you use this, then your paper would be accepted. So this is a brilliant way of identifying what and then why it fits this conference specifically. So it gives you it studies the catchword and helps you tremendously. So before you submit any paper in any conference, do this exercise. Okay, next. How to use AI for academic purpose. If you do not understand the technical process of submission to any journal, take help. AI is always factual. There are lots of different journal submission guidelines. One day I came across, the journal asked me, submit the highlight. Now, I did not know that in engineering papers, there is a specific tab called highlight, जो हम यूज नहीं करते हमारे ह्यूमैनिटीज के पेपर में. तो सबसे पहले तो मुझे यही नहीं पता है कि हाईलाइट है क्या. सो आई आस्क्ड ChatGPT, ये हाईलाइट कहां से आया? And it tells me हाईलाइट तो होना ही चाहिए. IEEE format if you are submitting, हाईलाइट तो होनी चाहिए. And therefore it tells me this is how you write highlight. Very good. I was struggling with one submission since last 11th December. I submitted in ESS Open Archive. The paper I have already presented in New Orleans in America. It is, everything is there. I clicked one step submission. It is not showing, it is not showing, it is not showing. So I asked ChatGPT what to do. It says you send an email. I sent an email, no response. I again went to ChatGPT and said they are not responding. What do I do? It says submit it like this. It doesn't help. Submit it like this, doesn't help. But I do not give up. पैसे खर्चे, license, pro ChatGPT. तो वसूल तो करना है, अहमदाबादी हूँ. And therefore, I kept on asking, no, you give me the answer, no, you give me the answer, no, you give me the answer. Ultimately, it helped me 2 days back. And today in the morning, 5:30, I got the DOI. So the point is, it helps you exactly for submission. This is that paper. So it says, this is how you submit. So it shows you the submission process, where the submission is very complicated. And for each journal, the submission process differs. And we are not experts in every domain. Okay, next. I'm intentionally hidden sometimes. I keep getting such emails every day in my inbox. Submit paper. Today is the deadline. Tomorrow it would come. 100% indexing in Scopus. So likewise, Dr. Mukesh Ambani is the president of my university. So sometimes spam emails come. Hi, how are you doing? Can you do me a favor? I would say, no, sorry, sir. You do me a favor. How can I favor you? Those spam emails, frauds, scam, trojans. So what it says is this journal indexed in Web of Science or Scopus? Because clone journals typically manipulate, and I've seen a lot of people getting duped because of clone journals. They look identical. You go to their website, you would find Scopus, you would find ISSN, everything. When your paper is published there, you are trapped. You can't retract the paper, they will not allow you. And therefore your paper is gone. Worst part is, one of your brilliant idea is captured in a clone journal that nobody would trust. So when UGC CARE journal were in fashion, UGC used to show the list of clone journals that don't publish in these journals. But today, now UGC CARE has gone. And therefore, we do not have any idea of whether the journal is authentic or not. And therefore, I would ask, is this correct? And it would say, no, it is not correct. Don't submit. See, major, short answer, no. This journal is not okay for a serious academic submission. And your doubt about acceptance within 5 days is absolutely valid. And it would say, no, never do that. So this is where it helps. Okay, how to use AI for academic purpose? Check whether your paper is fully indexed. You found what is a correct journal. You submitted the paper. You went through the editorial process. They say your paper is accepted. But how to know whether it is actually accepted and indexed? Because there's a gap between your acceptance and indexing. So how to know when it is fully? Then only you go to public, LinkedIn. My paper is published. But don't do before that. Because who knows, some review may come, reviewer to meme. And therefore, now what it tells me, this I learned before 2 months. Any Scopus paper has to have EID. Now I did not know. ऐसा होना चाहिए. But then it helps me. ChatGPT gives me a wisdom of life. It says, check your EID. How do I check my EID? Here, in the search box itself. The EID stands for Elsevier ID. So if your paper is truly indexed, it would invariably have EID. Now, I did not know that this is a valid way. So their AI helped me in a very good manner that if your paper is Scopus index, you need to store EID. Why? Because some papers are accepted in Scopus validated journals. Over the years, Scopus would discontinue indexing for that journal. So at that time, how do you go and prove that actually it was me? And actually it was at that time the journal was valid. So anything that you come across and anything the paper, the moment paper is published, go to Scopus, find out in the Scopus website itself, search result, save. मैं तो वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करता हूँ. आई वीडियो रिकॉर्ड पूरा सबमिशन यहां से यहां जाओ यहां से यहां जाओ देखो स्कूपस में है दिख रहा है निगम दवे है this is my EID and then I save it because there's no guarantee that it would be in the permanent archive and therefore these are the things where it helps. So okay, so proofreading is what basically AI is something where it encourages us to think on our own and spend a lot of time. It does give a lot of correct answer. It gives a lot of answers. And sometimes it discovers the hidden treasures for you also. Why? Number two, it is a good counselor. So if you are a PhD scholar, you are already worried. Your life is already miserable. And then on top of that, when the supervisor like me, my PhD scholar would be watching this video. So when you are in a foul mood and they do something wrong, and then I would blast them. In politeness or in frustration because of need, they won't say, no, this is not correct. Why are you shouting at me? But ChatGPT does it very good. Even if you ask a stupid question, it will say, yes, this is a very good question. Nobody has asked me this type of a question. So it encourages you. Second, it shows extra help. Sometimes extra help does matter. You have asked only one question, but it shows willingness to submit two more answers, which can help you. So AI is not bad. It is not bad at all. It's just that we need to be very, very careful about our role. H, human in the loop. It is the human in the loop that would matter. Otherwise, you and I, everybody would lose our relevance. If everything would be done by AI, then we do not stand any chance. No future workshops like this, physical workshops. Only AI would. Case a Jill Watson case study, Georgia Tech University. Jill Watson answered all students individually. You ask me a question, I would answer your question directly. You ask me a question, I would answer. You ask me a question, I would answer. At the end of the semester, when the result and grades were announced, the Indian origin professor of Georgia Tech University announced that this course was moderated by artificial intelligent agent called Jill Watson. His name is Jill Watson case study. JILLWATSON, Jill Watson. So Jill Watson answered all questions very factually, correctly, tailor-made. Now it is very good. All of you who are here, you do not want to ask me a question right now, but you have a question. So you ask a question to Jill Watson. Jill Watson would answer your question based on my talk. So it does these things very well. And therefore we have already moved into the fast accelerator world. We cannot wind the clock back. But at the same time, we need to be careful. Double watch लगानी है. ये time और ये time दोनों match कर रहे हैं या नहीं? This is proofreading AI hallucination. If you do that, I think all of us are in for a very interesting time. A lot of knowledge discovery. Something that saves us a lot of time. Something that shows us the correct guidelines. Something that shows us our errors. And AI is very good in showing our errors. More than an individual teacher. Sometimes an individual teacher doesn't want to offend you. So you ask, they would say, yes, it is good. Okay, chalega. But AI would not say that. If you ask it categorically, show me my errors, it would show you your errors. Because it is not habituated to saying, no, I cannot do it. And therefore, वो उसको बोलते challenge ले लेंगे. AI would take the challenge. AI would take the bait and show you your errors. That's where it helps. So it was a very good opportunity for me to come here. I would particularly want to thank on record before the video stops, Professor Dilip Barad, all of you, my university, my Vice Chancellor, the head of the department of my English department at School of Liberal Studies, PDU, and my PhD scholar, Sushti Kushwa, who helped me with the format of this presentation. So I dumped the presentation to her. You beautify it, and she did beautify it, so she is also the partner. So thank you very much. We can stop the video, and then we would go to the exercise. We can have a break, 1 or 2 minutes, and then we come back. But do come back.
And it's
As Samuel Johnson wisely observed, knowledge is of two kinds. We know a subject ourselves, or we know where we can find information of it. With this thought, we move towards the concluding part of this session. Now I would like to invite any participant from the audience for their feedback for the session of the expert, if anyone interested for the feedback.
Satyam vada, priyam vada. I'm joking. No, you please come up with your candid feedback.
Anyone?
So, very good afternoon, everyone. Definitely, it was an enlightening session with a lot of learning. Perhaps we have to redesign and reframe all our abstracts of already written articles, because we realized that what are the phrases which will help others to identify that they are AI generated. It is perhaps the third session regarding and in and around the AI of Nigam sirs, which I have been attending, from research methods, one seminar which we had in our department, then related to DeepSeek, and this about AI hallucinations. And every session comes with new knowledge, not only the knowledge what he is giving in the PPTs, but also how to create a session, how to be interactive, and how to keep your audience attracted towards their content. So it has been always a pleasure to attend his lectures, along with knowledge, also a lot of things to carry out a session. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful session.
Now, any other interested in feedback? Please, ma'am, welcome.
Thank you so much, sir, first of all, for this insightful and thought-provoking session. I think I'm not here just for the feedback. I'm also seeking a sort of assistance from sir. Sir, I am doing my PhD in digital cartography. Basically, that's like basis mapping. So you mentioned about mapping, and yesterday only I was talking to sir. I am doing PhD under Barrett sir's. Yeah. So it will be very helpful if I can get assistance from you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Your active participation shows your feedback, and reflection completes the learning. At this point, I invite Ms. Hiralba Jadeja to kindly share her feedback on today's lecture.
First, thank you, sir, coming in our Department of English. Today's session on detecting AI hallucination and using with integrity in academic writing was extremely timely and insightful. Dr. Dave clearly demonstrated how AI, when used incritically, can can mislead scholarly work, and how responsible engagement, how engagement is essential for maintaining academic credibility. Sir says how AI use with properly and properly, and thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Hiralba, for sharing your valuable thoughts. Sure, ma'am. Welcome.
To be precise, I would like to say, we felt the gravity throughout your session, sir. Even a flickering soul like me could not find any kind of detachment for a while. Thank you so much, sir. It was very insightful and thoughtful of you that you brought all the data so correct, and we say that could help us in our journey further. Thank you so much, sir, for being here for us.
Thanks must go to him. Why, I'll tell you. We, the resource people, get WhatsApp messages from him as to what is the constitution of the stakeholder group, who is attending. So once we know who is attending, accordingly, then only we can prepare better. So all the compliments go to him.
So thank you for the opportunity. Now I would like to invite Ms. Krupali Bellam to kindly share her feedback on the session.
Hello everyone, greetings to all. So today's session on detecting AI hallucination and using AI with integrity was very insightful and informative for us. It helps us to understand how use AI responsibility in academic work, and it also importance to maintain integrity while using any such AI and engaging with any such AI. So sir also given various examples of hallucination and clearly highlights the AI dilemmas and the risk of misleading outputs. So overall the session was very fruitful, and it definitely helped us to in our future academic journey. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Krupali, for your thoughtful feedback. As every meaningful academic engagement deserves a graceful closure, it is now time to express our gratitude. I request Mr. Sanket Vavadia to kindly propose the vote of thanks with appreciation for the learning shared today.
Okay, so it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. First and foremost, I express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Nigam sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge and insights on detecting AI hallucination and using AI with integrity. It was quite an insightful session, and you also demonstrate how to find AI hallucination through a practical approach. It is indeed interactive for us, and I am also thankful to all the participants for active participation and interaction. And behalf of our department, we are very thankful to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanket. Now, as we draw as a mark of our sincere appreciation and the gratitude, we would now like to present a letter of thanks and a memento to our esteemed resource person. I kindly request the concerned dignitary, Professor and Dr. Dilip Barad, to please felicitate our resource person. Please round applause, everyone. Now, after coming of the forwarding the program, now I would like to invite Prakriti Madam for the certificate distribution.
Thank you, Nidhi. So yesterday we asked some of you if you were leaving after the last session for today. So we are going to distribute some certificates here as part of the concluding session for the day. And these participants who will be receiving the certificate, they have been attending all the sessions consistently since day one. So here is a token of our appreciation. I invite Professor Dr. Nigam sir to please hand out these certificates to the participants. First, we have Asmita ma'am to felicitate. Please have a round of applause for all these participants. Next, we have Ms. Saloni Dave. Next, Ms. Megha Palania. Next, Mr. Kuldeep Kukadia. Next, Mr. Abhishek Oza. Ms. Jill Barad. Ms. Durva Barad. Mr. Nilay Rathod. And finally, Mr. Ghanshyam Kataria. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. That's it from our side. We will now have the lunch break.